we head on into the potentially greatest upset of the day as LYB Gaming now struggling to keep their playoff hopes alive. They're still at 2 wins. They're mathematically still able to strike very deep into the playoffs, in fact, going up against the juggernaut of Machi. That's going to be the matchup we have ahead of us. But first, we have to thank our sponsors in CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Chunghwa Telecom, and our newest addition in Caliber. Please check them out. Thanks to all of them for making the PCS possible. And we are taking a look at the potential, I think, postseason look for Machi, and also the dire straits that LYB find themselves in a must-win situation.
It definitely is a must-win for them here. And for the side of Machi, it's an opportunity, right? Because Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, you could say they were expected to go 2-0 today. This is an opportunity for the side of Machi to tie themselves in record score against Mega Bank Beyond. And for LYB, it's the start of the dream run, Clement. It's time.
You don't sound like you have enough faith in you, but it's okay. First off, we're going to take a look at Machi Esports' roster. Likai in the top lane, no surprises there. Gemini, Jimian, mid-jungle, Atlan, and Koala rounding out the bottom side. I think this team is very well secured into playoffs. They're playing with, I feel like, a lot of gusto. They're having fun with all of their post-game shots in their camera. Jimian is rocking a new haircut every single time. Last time we saw him, it was the single, you know, in
the
Chinese we call it the firecracker because it looks like the fuse on top of a firecracker. But this time around, he has it split. Yeah, he's got the ponytail working around. I think this team is, I think they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, and they're really rounding out their extra champion picks. We saw the Vayne come out from Likai earlier on, and also the Lee Sin for Jimian.
Yeah, I think this team is still growing or still showcasing a lot of what they have to add in their champion pool as we get a nice close-up, nice big screen picture of Jimian. You know, he's got 2 tails now. Soon we're going to get 3, and once it hit finals, it'll be 9 tails.
All right, we'll see if your predictions come true as we head over towards LYB Esports. Spell starting in the top lane today. A bit of a surprise, not Kanji. Dodoi in the jungle, Xyliath in middle, and then we have Dawn and Aiden in the bottom side. So actually returning Spelts to the lineup. This is very interesting to see. You know, Spelts was sort of their weak side top laner. Kanji, I felt like was a very solid carry. Maybe Spelts has leveled up over the time where we haven't seen him. It's going to be a surprise either way, I think.
Yeah, he was in last week as well. Didn't exactly have a shining performance, but I believe he was playing against PSG, so it's hard to be a shining light in that matchup. He's going to have still a very tough lane here. It's not like it doesn't get easier. You might even say it becomes even more difficult, as I would place Likai as a better laner than Hanabi, but the matchup will be the jungle, as Dodoi has had many big moments here as a jungler. Also had some lowlights, but you know what? We're focusing on the positives, and he's the big positive for this roster.
Dodoi, I think his best position is just diving into the backline. We saw great stuff from his Gore Drinker Olaf, from his Diana play, and he really has been a core piece of the combo that we've seen from LYB Gaming's compositions. I really like their winning drafts. Like the drafts when they win, they're so focused. There's a great identity, and they usually revolve around Dodoi just chopping down someone's carries. And I love this draft from Machi right off the bat, just making sure that Dodoi does not get the Lulu, doesn't want him to get the Olaf. They are shutting LYB down by shutting down the mid jungle.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they go ahead ban away something like a Karma as well to prevent early rotational gameplay. The Lulu directed more towards Spelts here, as that is one of his big picks in that top lane. Just helps facilitate things for the rest of the team. We'll see what the last bans end up being here, as LYB go ahead ban away 2 junglers for the most part. Yes, Viego can go into the hands of Jimin or Likai, but for the most part, Gemini has been the headliner for that champion. And now they're going to ban away the Trundle as well, so trying to limit Dodoi's impact. And well, I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't have been surprised if LYB go for either the Diana or the Ziggs ban, because Atlan has been pretty reliant on Ziggs, but Gemini has also fallen back towards the Diana pick when given the opportunity.
So it is going to be Diana on one side for Gemini, and then Dodoi most likely going to go for the Lee Sin. Of course, it still has flex potential, but judging by their picks, it should be Dodoi's champion here. We have seen this dichotomy a lot of times in the PCS already. One really strong combo piece, Wombo combo team composition, and the other one more early game, more pick focused, as we have LYB rounding out and going into the pick route more with the Thresh pick. Very strong 2 picks coming out here. Machi do have to respond, and it looks like they are going to go for something safe. This is usually how they like to draft. You save the solo lanes for much later on, and then just go for the long range, sort of disengage 80 carries for Atlan.
The safe carries there. I expect to see something like a Braum as well here, just so it doesn't get denied away in the second phase.
Let's go.
Poppy would certainly be
gotta
an
match the
interesting
hairstyle
pick here.
That's purely for the hairstyle, okay? There's for nothing else.
True. And you know what? That might have been the logic behind that hover. And now they will end up locking in the Renekton in the end. And the Casio actually blocks a lot of the power coming in from Renekton Diana. It just comes down to, can you get the miasma down fast enough in the blink of an eye, and ends up pivoting towards the LeBlanc instead. This makes a lot of sense, right? Because you want to play around Dodoi. Well, LeBlanc's a great pick that can facilitate the Lee Sin as well.
A lot of death brushes could be set here. LYB going to go take away some of the stronger picks against the LeBlanc. Lucian going to be off the table. In the meantime, they're still looking at a ban onto support, or most likely another solo laner in this case. Machi does look like they're going for early tempo, more Drake focused, rather than 1-3-1. So just keeping that in mind as we move through the bans here. Meanwhile, Machi going to take away the Gnar, signaling that this Renekton is going topside. It could still be a ruse. Like, we have seen teams just ban away supposed Renekton counters and then send Renekton mid. It'd be interesting if they do that. In the meantime, LYB also take away Syndra, which was a pretty powerful pick for Jimin in springtime, and also buffed on the 11.15.
Now, taking that away, just trying to give Xylieth the best matchup possible here. And Machi banning away 2 top laners really says to me that they want to put this Renekton topside, but Spelt's not really, I feel like not really a Jace player. But because of those bans allocated towards him, it means that Aphelios is left available in a solid backline fallback plan for LYB if this Lee Sin and LeBlanc don't get that far ahead early on.
So far, I love the draft from LYB. Like, the sequencing is really nice. They have a strong way to play the early game. They have late game insurance, and honestly, top lane can either be a Renekton counter, if there is one, or it could just be a weak side top laner. Totally fine to have a weak side top laner in this comp and just round out a front to back composition. I think it's a very beautiful comp. On Machi's side, you kind of knew this was coming. You kind of had a guess in the back of your mind that Yasuo Diana was going to be the combo. And indeed, they do lock it in. PSG fell in love with this one. LYB are no strangers to this composition. The question now is, do they have an answer?
I feel like their answer is just going to be like some sort of Tom Kench or Mundo, one of these massive stat stick top laners, just to neutralize that that Renekton. But it does look like they're instead going to add a little bit more team fight by locking in this Wukong. So the Wombo potential coming in from Machi has prompted LYB to try and answer with a little bit of their own team fight power. Not sure if I really like this. I feel like you just play a little bit more towards lane. And I mean, the Wukong's not a terrible laner into the Renekton, but
it's definitely not expected to be a winning matchup. I think we could put it that way. You still think that Renekton is going to edge out ahead. It's just that Wukong, when it comes to team fights, I feel like he has a lot more potential to close out the team fights with
more
multiple kills on the backlines. Much more agile of a champion. Yeah. But if we take a look at the comps overall, I feel like we have, very clear identities. Right from the first 2 picks, I was saying wombo combo, pick on the other side, and that's exactly how they rounded out both of these teams. A very common dichotomy that we have seen in the PCS, and frankly, the Diana Yasuo comp has been very successful. I think there's like one example of someone being able to counter it, but it was a rare case scenario, and I think it evolved Mordekaiser. Yeah, Berjaya were actually the ones that were able to take away the combo by just stealing away Diana into the Death Realm, but other than that, we haven't really seen a great answer to this combo.
Yeah, and Yasuo does have 3 out of 3 wins, so unstoppable so far. And for the side of LYB, this was a combination that got them their first win. So it's time for them to figure out how to deal with this combination themselves. They've got a decent scaling composition. Obviously, the Lee Sin and LeBlanc are going to drop off quite considerably, but they've set themselves up with some win conditions, and it definitely doesn't feel the same as the previous game, at least draft wise.
Taking a look at the runes here, we do have more just sustained runes coming out for the Yasuo, to be expected, and a cheeky level 1 by Ligai, Koala, and Gemini. 3-man engaged. They do not find spells, able to walk away with Summoner. In the meantime, LYB are not going to respond with anything onto the bottom side. They just had Aiden drop a ward and then go back towards the top, bottom side, and Spelts going off on a little emote war against Lee Kai.
Just letting him know, hey, I'm there. I know you're there. Just give... Well, actually, Spelts on a ward. We'll see if Lee Kai handshakes this fight. All right, good poke.
Spelts probably does know after that one.
Yeah. Spelts is going to win out on that trade because he gets a little bit more regen from his passive, but all in all, it's very minor. And it will be red buff starts from both of these junglers. Gemini, I don't think he got a leash on his, which might matter if Dodoy goes aggressive into Gemini's jungle.
Lee Kai's starting out with a decent sized lead right here, able to trick Spelts to walk back into the minion wave and take about 6 extra shots. Meanwhile, Xyliath, to be expected, is getting a little bit of an advantage here in the matchup. Double flay coming in from Aiden. Dawn opening up onto Atlan, taking him down to half HP, and this is the biggest improvement we've seen from LYB.
Level 2 now.
It's just their ability to fight 2v2s as the flashing comes in. Death Sentence goes a little bit wide, but does force out double sums from Atlan. And we also have Dodoy pathing towards the bot lane, so LYB setting themselves up for a very strong bottom side start.
They're going to still play relatively far forward here. Aiden with his cooldowns back up and available. Might look for another play very shortly, as we're going to see Dodoy slowly path his way down, actually opting to take the Raptor camp, which is a little bit surprising. Usually you go from red buff to buff and straight into Gromp into the Crab, but much more full clear oriented pathing coming in from Dodoy, and you can see like this champ doesn't full clear very well because it's 315 and he's only cleared 3 camps, whereas Gemini is hitting the full clear.
Yeah, it does seem like Dodoy is just planning on staying bot for a very long time, so he's just full clearing his top side. He wants to get a kill onto Atlan, I believe. In the meantime, Speltz is still staying very healthy. I don't think Diana is going to be diving in anytime soon, even with the Renekton. So
Yep.
it should prompt some sort of defensive action from Machi. We'll see how they path around here. And indeed, we have Gemini heading towards the bot lane. While, talking about this bot lane situation, it is so good for LYB. No sums on Atlan, traded away only for the flash on Aiden. That's extremely well played.
Yep. But it's not going to pay dividends until they are actually able to cash in on that summoner difference. And from the looks of it, Dodoy, I think he's looking to full clear. Clement, not sure how I feel about this.
The dream is dead. Okay. Yeah, I thought he was going to link up with Xylia. As you can see, they have a lot of pressure on this side, but he is going to go towards the top side, like you mentioned, and help Speltz out, who does need a little bit of help. We did talk about this matchup, and even though the Wukong was selected as a counter pick, it doesn't typically win lane against Renekton. Renekton still has a lot more say in this lane. Nearly gets the flash out of Speltz there. Speltz does finish the TP. He's going to be absolutely fine. Now we have the comeback. Dawn takes a tower shot. Koala goes in, drops down the ignite, but doesn't find the kill just yet. Atlan doesn't have chase potential without the flash. He's still going to go forward regardless. And maybe he can cheese out a piercing arrow. Let's see if he can get the cooldown up.
Gemini hunting.
Doesn't land.
Gemini is still in the vicinity. We'll go for the recall here. Yeah, it does look like LYB are looking to stay, and they are going to get that farm, but more than likely they'll go ahead recall after this. Now level 6 is starting to trickle in, and that's where the Machi composition can start looking for some flashy plays, especially around the Dragon area.
I see Jimian starting to open up onto Xylia here. Not afraid of just going forward, using the minions as extra damage. And like we talked about, everything does come down to just Drake or Herald fight. It's still 2 minutes off before that, but we're going to get a grouping up onto top lane. Speltz missing an ultimate here. There is no chance that LYB win any skirmish at this point, so Machi just trying to apply maximum pressure. We're trying to get a force off against this Wukong, deny him some CS. Oh, he's going to miss the Canyon EXP. Yeah, that's a gnarly situation.
He's missing everything.
He used the W to try and get back into the wave and takes half his HP for it. Dodo escorts him, and Aiden is caught in a very awkward situation as he just straight up dies, gives over first blood. Speltz finally takes over to 6. That's not really enough. Xylia comes in to get a comeback kill, but no chains onto Likai. Can they actually find the Croc? The Croc is going in for another kill. Machi are running away with this trade.
Teleport?
Denial on the top wave.
Oh!
Yeah, that's going to be a double going down. Ooh, so rough.
That's a flash play coming in from Likai. Yeah, 3 kills coming in total, and Speltz, I mean, this is kind of one of the reasons why we wanted to see Kanji in that top lane. Has a little bit better execution around the wave setup here, and you could see what Speltz was looking for in trying to get a little bit more EXP so he could tick to level 6, but honestly, by the time he gets there, he's lost too much health, he's lost too much mana to get there as well, and they get 1 kill back, but that's it. They lose 3 for that, and it's most certainly not worth the exchange. Yeah,
Likai spots the real LeBlanc. Will you please stand up to real Xylia? Just takes him down straight afterwards. I felt like LYB, they actually made the right rotations, but the execution was definitely off, as you mentioned. Aiden didn't really do anything there. He just straight up died. So that was mistake number 1. Xylia TP'd in right on top of Renekton, took half his HP, dropped almost immediately into passive. So I felt like that could have been a lot better for LYB, but now we have Xylia opening up onto Jimian again, getting the better side of the trade and putting him quite low. The next Mimic should be able to force him out of lane, so Gemini has to come over and help. Let's see if he gets his abilities on. Nope, Xylia instantly distorts back and keeps alive. Very well played.
Yeah, very clean play comes from Xylia to really make up for a bit of a disastrous game play up in the top side. Now for Machi, they're pretty comfortable with where they are, so the ball is pretty much in LYB's court to try and make a play around this jungle mid duo.
Usually the way this matchup works,
they start looking bot side. Like bot has done well, but again, like you burned the early flash, you haven't cashed in, and now it's past the expiration date to punish that. You have to go ahead and burn the summoners yet again onto this Varus.
I totally agree with you. As Xylia is trying to get something done here, unfortunately unable to find the chase onto Gemini, and in comes Koala with the grand entrance. Does get one with the quickness, finds two. Dodo still targeting Gemini in the backside. Will be able to get the snipe down, but at the cost of the mid laner. Not really worth it here. Likai still running forward. He's about to get his cooldowns back up again, and Dodoy can't run away from the incoming Crocodile. That's going to be the Herald play. Very good rotations from Machi. The entire bottom lane has moved up towards the play.
And it was a bit of a poor read on the situation. They try and commit to picking off Gemini in his own jungle. He already completes what he wants to do, and the rotation's just faster from Machi. It's just another symptom of the top lane play. Speltz, because he's so weak, he can't make that rotation over to that Herald play fast enough. And yeah, the rest of the squad dies, but at the same time, you have your Aphelios just farming up as much as he can down in that bot lane. You don't need to overforce that play. You can just hand over the Rift Herald and get plates bot lane. They just got a little bit greedy.
Yeah, I think they were looking at the top lane and saying, well, if we give this up, it's instantly going to be first brick gold. It's going to be an unstoppable Likai. We have to try and fight this. So I kind of understand why they were trying to do, but once again, I feel like the execution alter there, and as we see the Wombo combo. That was interesting try from Xylia. I felt like you needed your flash to try something like that, and Machi says thank you very much. They take the kill and the tower now.
They should be able to get mid tower here, snowball a bunch more gold into the hands of Gemini and
from
Jimia.
Koala, they find Dodo. Actually, no! They completely missed Dodo with the quickness, but it doesn't matter. Jimia still finds the kill at the end. That was kind of interesting, but at the end it doesn't really matter. Happy feet, not enough for Dodo to get out of that. He really needed his flash.
Yeah, the expected result ends up happening here. 12 minutes into the game, it's already at a 6k gold differential. I know as much as it hurts to say this, Clement, but I think this game is done.
There are so many hopes and dreams riding on this one. We'll watch the trade again. Xylia goes in, but I feel like he must have mistimed the ultimate here because it was a very easy find, to be honest, for Machi. They just pressed R and he was dead. So I guess it was mistiming from communication. And Dodoy, this time around, he does dodge out on the charm, which is, I feel is actually, okay, he does get charmed by that, my bad. But in the end, you know, he doesn't get out of it. Yeah, it looked a little bit funny, but he still died regardless. And I think the Wombo combo is truly on its way. They could go to any side lane turret at this point and just tower dive.
The gold lead is just massive, right? You have a 6k gold lead. The individual differences are massive too. Xylia at least able to clear the wave, but he has to give up a large chunk of his HP to do so at the very least. He does have 2 more corrupting potions stacks that he can pop. But it's all in control for Machi. Whatever happens, it's going to be very difficult for LYB to fully get back into the game. They might be able to find a pick or two with this Lee Sin and LeBlanc, but again, with this Wukong, you want to team fight. with this Aphelios, you want to team fight, but at this point in the game, can you team fight? The answer is a resounding no.
Yeah, I don't think LeBlanc and Neeson at this point can kill anyone. And we have the wombo combo again over the wall. Aiden is the target right here. It's a great exhaust, but he doesn't get damage reduction onto G-Man. Now Dodoi comes in with the kick. They find Gemini, take him out, and now G-Man is the next target as we do have the flash in from Don. He's trying to chase it down with the red buff. Nearly goes down, and double kill goes over to Don. The comeback is on the horizon as Don shows his face and instills some hope into Liab's chances.
Gold is still 7k gap, but they are able to get big shutdowns onto Dawn. Getting this gold is going to help him out considerably at just trying to get them back into this game. And the assist gold also helps Speltz a little bit here, but more importantly is just the fact that if they are to make their way back into this game, it's going to be on the back of 200 years. And well, now
200 years we trust. I believe that's what's written on the dollar bill. We'll find out if we can still pull this through. Of course, they're still at a massive disadvantage. It's very difficult to understate how large the disadvantage really is. But if they can catch out Machi, like doing picks like that again and again, as Speltz just finds himself unfortunate against two members. However, it does dodge out as Koala doesn't have the ignite to finish off the kill. So again, we have dodge out on Disaster. They still need to wrestle back their entire red side vision, but there is not going to be Baron for a long time, so it's not really as detrimental as it might seem.
Yeah, at the very least, they're not under risk of losing the Baron buff. However, it does mean that they are going to lose a lot of their jungle camps. We see Machi doing a good job at making sure they deny them away from the side of Liab, and that's one way to really accelerate and enforce your lead. Is yes, you can have all these waves bounce back towards the side of Liab. They're not going to miss out on those golden EXP values, but you are going to miss out on the ones available in your own jungle. Dodoi gets a little bit flashy there, but understands there's no one there to follow up. It's also a Renekton, which at this point in the game is really, really tanky because of how much health he just has straight up.
It's a bit of a love tap onto Likai. I don't think he even got through his scales at this point. This Renekton is massive. He's 70 CS over his top laner. And I just want to say welcome back to the PCS, Speltz. This is what you've been missing. Not exactly a great welcome, and Likai goes back to his business into the side lane. I feel like Machi are just going to essentially play a 4-run from this point on. Likai's not really needed in the kill combo here whatsoever. Chains of Corruption and the quickness are more than enough. And I like the way that they're, allocating resources across the map. The 4-man has all of the AoE crowd control anyway, so Likai can kind of do his thing and hopefully draw two members away on Liab's side.
Now going to be able to get themselves a Rift Herald, 17 minutes in the game. 4 turrets down. It's going to be a little bit scary the next couple of minutes for the side of Liab because of this Rift Herald being possibly able to crack a lot of this Liab base. If they get caught out here, if they lose too many members, it could very much just be Baron straight into the end of the game.
Atlan is going to get rooted up by the Everfrost. We see the full combo go in, but the Death Sends go wide. Koala has to pay for the sins of his AD carry, but in the meantime, Machi are coming into the rescue. How many can they trade back is the question. They find the wobble combo onto one, but in the meantime, Gemini also comes down. Liab, in a situation where they're down almost 10,000 gold, actually find a 2-for-1.
You know what? You'll definitely take those trades, especially if you're Speltz, who, I mean, if you look at the score line, the poor man is down 70 CS. This man hasn't been able to play the game. And it all starts off with Atlan getting a little bit too far forward here. thought he was safe, but honestly, there's so much lockdown power coming in from LYB when you do have the Gravitum from this Aphelios pick that he's able to threaten that Varus pick, and they get one, and Speltz has a heroic effort to go 1-for-1 in that trade as well.
Incredible that he was able to get that one despite being 2 versus 1, and that's part of the reason why Gemini not really with the stopwatch just yet, the Zhonya's, excuse me. Gemini trying to chase up onto Dodoy. We have Koala popping the Shurelya's Revelry going forward. Still can't find any purchase here, and I feel like Machi are at this point of the game where they're so far ahead, but there's no Baron, that they're just kind of getting a little bit rowdy and trying to find action wherever they can. I think this is the much more measured play here. You know, they've been hanging on to the Herald. Just drop it, get that gold lead even higher, and make sure you don't give LYB any more of those kills back. They're kind of unnecessary. I am rooting for LYB. I've been rooting for them quite openly as the underdog. Love rooting for underdog, but you know, honestly, Machi could close this game out without many hiccups. Should be completely what they do. Dodoy is going to be caught on here. Chase Corruption and 3-man combo into the backline, instantly deleting Aiden and Dodoy. They go down. Xylia trying to get the assassination off onto Atlan. It's not going to work. Atlan survives with a sliver of HP. Lower than 100 hit points, but the Varus is still there, and he is going to continue to help his team to push on. Machi, they have a great push in, and it was a great try by LYB, but unfortunately, the difference is just way too large at this point. Break fingers on Koala, gets the quickness, Chains of Corruption on 3, plus the Last Whisper, just wiping the entire team out of nowhere. Don trying his best to deal damage on the right side, keep safe, but it's not enough. He just doesn't have the firepower.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, your Lee Sin has been put way too far behind. Xylia on this LeBlanc also, for the most part, stymied. And that means all the responsibility to carry these team fights lies onto Dawn. And Dawn, even with those 2 kills earlier on, even with this amount of farm that he's been able to accumulate at 201, 192 CS, just not enough because there's no front line to help set these team fights up for him. And
yeah, there definitely isn't enough tankiness here, and Machi is just running towards Dawn like they are madmen. They won't find the target, but Dodoy is spotted out. They get the kick onto Atlan.
Oh, wait!
He goes down. Chains of Corruption still used, however. Does get the ultimate down. They do find the first kill.
And they get out.
And Machi are running towards them. I'm not sure about the get out part. That seems a bit iffy. They're still on the wrong side of the map with a very angry Crocodile between themselves and their face. They are going on. Speltz gets a massive 4-man Cyclone and actually comes out the other side unharmed. That was such great monkey business coming in from Speltz. Actually gets away. Dodoy even has to give him an emote. Dodoy might not survive that, but he really enjoyed his top laner's play there. Oh, goodbye, Dodoy.
Oh, fantastic monkey business, but in the end, none of it matters. Lee Kai even acknowledging that was a good monkey play with his own monkey emote. Dawn arrives there late. It looked like he was there on time, but then he sees, oh, we don't really have fight lines well set up for me. I don't actually get to do damage.
Dawn has to flash away from Koala as he pops over the wall. They don't have any flashes here, so the steal has to come from Xylia. He is tagged up from Koala. Last Whisper goes down. Can Xylia find the hero play? He goes in once more, but no. Gemini secures the Baron and also takes down Xylia. On the other hand, the base is in tatters. It's wide open. We have TPs coming in to preserve the wave. And in goes Jimian 1v3. He gets the knockup onto 2. Koala is following him. Jimian is rushing straight for the kill. And he does find Dawn amongst multiple members on the opposing team.
That's GA?
He's going to stay alive with the GA. Godoy looking for the kickback. Not going to get it. And Machi with essentially a 2v3 play, break open the base with the Genian acting as the hammer here. Liab
It
are
could just be
staring
game.
down the barrel. This could just be the finish. Espels goes in, gets a 3-man. Zylia can't find the damage in the backline though. Everfrost onto Atlan. Can they get the kill? No, Atlan survives with 400 HP. G-Man on the backside opens up onto Jojoy. Likai walks back to pick up the kills, and Machi with their patterned synergy, all flash the emotes at the same time. They are going to knock Liab down to at the maximum, going for 5 wins. That's the most they can get after this loss here. Machi looked incredibly happy here as they inch forward to securing that second place. They are going to come out of the heat. We said earlier today a lot of teams sitting on 11 wins, and now they will be joining Beyond Gaming as the only 2 teams with 12. Oh, that's such a cute cat. Oh, it's a ginger
Hello,
too.
cat.
I used to have a ginger. I love gingers. Oh, it's a fat
Hello,
one
cat.
too. Oh, I love fat cats.
I'm a big
Fat
cat
cats are the
fan too.
best.
But
Me too, me
yeah, well-deserved victory for Machi. Definitely one of those wins that you expected them to get here. They take care of business, and that puts them in contention for that number 2 seed as we get to see the last fight. I mean, there was really not a whole lot to this, besides just the fact that they were 10k gold up. And even then, it looks relatively close. It wasn't that bad of an attempt coming in from Liab, but we've said this multiple times about Liab games as well. They've come close numerous times, but close doesn't cut it.
There isn't a cigar. Nobody remembers, essentially second place. It's a winner takes all world. It's a rough situation to be in. However, Liab, they still have a chance to get all the way to 5 wins. They still have 3 games more on the board. And if they get 5 wins, that means I could get into playoffs without going through a tiebreaker. That's definitely still a possibility. However, their games going forward, they're still Beyond Gaming. That's very difficult. The other 2, they still have a chance. Impunity and Alpha Esports, not exactly the strongest teams currently in the PCS. So they still have their hopes alive, just very much diminished. We have to be completely honest about the situation. It's not a great chance. They still have a shot.
And to be fair, like, the next game is really the important game for them to watch. It is Berjaya taking on Impunity. If Berjaya come out ahead, well, Berjaya pretty much kind of locked themselves into position for that 6th seed. But more importantly, it prevents the side of Impunity from getting their 5th game. Which would make things even more difficult for Liab. So Liab would kind of control their destiny if Berjaya get the win here.
Yeah, I think just to go over that a little bit, because Berjaya and Impunity and Hong Kong Attitude are both on 5 wins, it's much easier for Liab to actually catch up to Impunity instead of Berjaya. Essentially is what's going on here. So, they kind of have to wish that the winner keeps on winning and they get to pick someone off. But because Beyond Gaming is still on their docket, it is most likely that even if they make playoffs, they will have to go through a tiebreaker. It's very dire straits for Liab. We have witnessed all of their advancements, but it could just not be enough. That very well could be the case. We don't know yet. We wish them the best of luck. On the other side, for Machi, honestly, this was a pretty straightforward game. I felt like they bullied out the top side super hard. They were up multiple, like, I think it was close to 30 CS just by the second time they went into the top lane. Early 3v1 at the start, and to no surprises, we do have G-Man once again getting an MVP. I've kind of lost count on how many MVPs he gotten so far, but it definitely is the most out of any player in the PCS.
He's on fire. He's honestly just been on another level in the league, and the only one really to contest him in lane or just in these team fights has just been Maple. But you can also attribute that to the fact that, well, he's got a much better squad around him as well as probably being a better player. But well done from G-Man to execute around the Yasuo pick. Well done from production to also hide the damage numbers at the end game screen. Don't want to crush Liab too hard here.
And congratulations to G-Man for picking up his 7th MVP out of 12 wins from Machi. That's over half
a lot of
the
MVPs.
MVP secured by one player alone. That's absolutely insane. He's been having a breakout split. Hope this continues, but we have to head on to the last game of the day. I know there's a lot of Singaporean fans waiting out there. Impunity is going to be taking on Berjaya as both of them try to cling on to dear life and their playoff spots.